This is Richie Valens by Richie Valens. Let's talk records. Richie Valens was born in 1941 from Mexican parents as Richard Steven Valenzuela in Pacoima, a neighborhood of the San Fernando Valley in California. Valenzuela grew up with traditional mariachi music, but he was also very much into rhythm and blues. He began playing guitar at a young age, and one of his uncles taught him how to play this Mexican folk song when he was a kid. He also learned how to play the trumpet and taught himself how to play the drums. When Valenzuela was 15 years old, he missed a day of school to attend his grandfather's funeral. That was the day of the Pacoima 1957 mid-air collision, when an aircraft crashed into Pacoima Junior High after it collided with an Air Force jet. This tragic event made Valenzuela develop a fear of flying. At 16 years old, Valenzuela joined a group called the Silhouettes, not to be confused with the doo-wop group that scored a big hit with Get a Job. He played his first concert on June 19, 1957. In 1958, Valenzuela was playing regularly around town and becoming very popular with the local youth crowd. It was around this time that Bob Keane, owner of a small Hollywood record label called Delphi Records, got a tip about a young local musician people were calling the Little Richard of San Fernando. Keane went to check out Valenzuela, was very impressed with what he saw. Valenzuela signed with Delphi May 14, 1958. Keane convinced him to change his name to Richie Valens to appeal to a wider audience. Valens went into the studio to record Come On Let's Go, a song penned by him and Keane, and also a Lever Stoller song called Frame. The single was pressed and released just a couple of days later, and Come On Let's Go was a successful hit, reaching number 42 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart. A few months later, Valens went back into the studio to record a double-sided single. On one side, it was a song called Donna that Richie had written for his high school sweetheart, Donna Ludwig, whose parents did not approve of their relationship. On the other side was the Mexican folk song that his uncle had taught him some years back called La Bamba. Donna and La Bamba were released September 1958. Donna turned out to be Richie Valens' highest charting single, reaching number 2 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart. La Bamba has become his most recognizable song and perhaps his signature song. It reached number 22 on the chart. Valens then performed on Dick Clark's American Bandstand later that year. He even played at his old junior high at Pacoima. Keane got him a coveted spot at Alan Freed's Christmas Jubilee concert, playing alongside such legends of the time like Eddie Cochran, Chuck Berry, the Everly Brothers, Jackie Wilson, and others. He even got to play at the famous Apollo Theater, and in early 1959, he played with the iconic Sam Cooke at the West Covina High School. Richie Valens' self-titled debut album was released January 12, 1959 on Delphi Records. It included all of the previous songs that he had recorded, as well as That's My Little Susie, which was released as a single that same month. It also featured In a Turkish Town, Boney Maroney, originally recorded by Larry Williams, Ooh My Head, Bluebirds Over the Mountain by Ursel Hickey, High Tone, written by Al Hazan, We Belong Together, originally recorded by Robert and Johnny, and Dewey Dewey Wah, written by Valens and Keane. The album reached number 23 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart. Early that same year, Valens got a spot playing at the Winter Dance Party Tour, playing with such legends like Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Dion and the Belmonts. The tour was fraught with a lot of complications, most of them having to do with below freezing temperatures and touring in a bus that did not have a heater. Aside from getting sick with flu-like symptoms, one time the bus broke down and Buddy Holly's drummer, Carl Bunch, got frostbite and needed to be hospitalized. Since Valens knew how to play, he filled in on the drums for Holly's band. After a concert in Iowa, February 2, 1959, Holly chartered a small plane to take them to the next stop in Minnesota. There was a coin toss to establish who would get a seat on the plane. Valens won, and reportedly he said, "That's the first time that I've ever won anything in my life." The plane left Fargo, North Dakota, almost at 1 a.m. February 3, 1959. The plane crashed minutes later due to the increasingly inclement weather and the inexperienced pilot. Sadly, the 3 legendary artists died instantly from the crash. Richie Valens was only 17 years old. This day has been dubbed as the day the music died. Los Lobos covered many of Valens' songs on the soundtrack for the 1987 movie La Bamba, a biopic of Richie Valens' short life. Their version of La Bamba reached number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Richie Valens was posthumously inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001. La Bamba was ranked number 345 on Rolling Stone magazine's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time in 2004 and 2010. Richie Valens' version of La Bamba was added to the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress in 2018.